engagement. This morning, let me start by welcoming all our dignitaries who are already seated in our midst. I would like to start with the Honorable Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation for the Republic of Nigeria, my boss, my former boss, who happened to be the chair of my Jaba ministry. No other person but our own justice. I hope you guys will make the mic work the way we want. Of course, Mr. Fagbemi is a prince, a lawyer, and erudite scholar, and this morning is unavoidably absent and is ably represented by the Chief State Counsel in the Office of the Attorney General this morning. Please kindly welcome with me this morning Please, apologies for that. We hope this will not continue through the program. Welcome with me this morning, Mrs. Chika Nnana. Please, let's put our hands together as we welcome her. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to also recognize and welcome this morning in Africa, where we welcome ourselves even to our homes. And this is typical of us because of our communal nature. I would like to welcome the chief host of this event to our own event. Why? Because when you have someone who is committed, who performs excellently, who drives change in an unusual manner, is always a welcome for a father who guides his home very well, for a mother who manages her home very well. This morning, thank and welcome the host of this event, no other person, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, the National Correspondent of GIABA in Nigeria, the head of the institution, elegantly attired, cosmopolitanly dressed. Come with me this morning, Hajia Hafsat Abubakar Bakari. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think it's a welcome with me, Mr. Atishana Okaro. Please put your hands together. Those of you who know me very well, you know there's something I don't like. And that's what you are doing this morning. When you put your hand together stingily, it makes me feel like you are not generous. And that particular one was quite stingy. Can we now generously put our hands together for him? Thank you for your generosity. At this point, I would also like to welcome those we have from the discussion panel. We have representatives of agencies, very important ones at that. But before welcoming them, some of them are also representing the agencies at the same time as members of our panel. I will start also with another former Director of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, who is now a Senior Special Advisor to the Chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, wearing multiple caps this morning, representing the Executive Chairman as well. Welcome with me, my friend and my brother, Mr. Francis Susani. You're going to put your hand together a couple of times, really, before we finish. So, no, don't worry, don't worry. Many of you know the signature message. The signature message is that when you put your hands together, you are improving your health. Because there are veins in those your palms that carry blood to some organs. And the more you put your hands together, the faster they work. The faster they work, the healthier you are. The healthier you are, the better your organs function. The better your organs function, the longer you live. So with this understanding now, you are now going to put your hands together properly for Mr. Osani. It seems we want to stay here for 150 years. That was a long one. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have here also from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The governor is ably represented by Deputy Director from the Central Bank, Alhaji Aminu Isa Buhari. Please, let's put our hands together as we welcome him. This array of individuals from very recognized organizations that work in consonant as part of the IMC. We also have here from the Nigerian Data Protection Commission. Welcome with me the representative of the National Commissioner, Mr. Babatunde Bami Boye, is the head of legal enforcement and regulation. Please, let's welcome him. Thank you for joining us this morning. I will also, at this point in time, permit us to start the session. I will continue the recognition so that we can manage time appropriately. This meeting will start with a welcoming address. The welcoming address, of course, will be taken by the chief host. She's someone I've listened to for several years at different capacities. It's unusual to have people individuals with multiple competencies. Your effort is not in what you do, your effort is in the result you show. She has shown an extremely results that marvel everyone. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you will hear from the speech what it takes Nigerians to be exiting in very few days to come. And behind all of those efforts is one woman who is determined. Please welcome with me my dear sister as she takes the welcome address. Hafsat Bakari.
Good morning, everybody. You know, when Tim speaks, it is very, very difficult to catch up with him. So thank you very much. Good morning, all of you. It is my singular honor to be here this morning to welcome you all to this very, very important session. And that more importantly for me this morning is to stand before royalty. What do I mean by royalty? I have two of my predecessors who set the pace. So it is an honor to be between Mr. Okaro and Francis. It is an honor, and I want to use this opportunity to say thank you for bringing us to where we are today. If you didn't do it, whatever I'm doing, I'm building on what you have set forth. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate you, appreciate your service, and we continue to urge you to be with us. Being here means a lot to the NFIU. Representative of the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, representative of the Governor of Central Bank, all distinguished heads, Your Excellencies, the British High Commissioner ably represented here, special guests, colleagues, and my esteemed colleagues from the FIU who have put this together, being led by the GC of the FIU, colleagues and partners. It is my honor to welcome you to this roundtable on developing a public-private partnership for coordinated action against money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing in Nigeria. I extend my special appreciation to the British High Commission and also to our consultant, Mr. Patterson of the Patterson Consulting in Nigeria, for their invaluable support in convening today's dialogue, and to every institution represented here for prioritizing this critical national assignment. Today's engagement is the second in this important series. You will recall that in August this year, we met with the private sector stakeholders in Lagos to open conversations around a collaborative PPP model. That first engagement reinforced one clear truth. No single institution, whether public or private, can combat the scale and sophistication of financial crimes alone. It is in this spirit of complementarity that we are gathered here again today, this time with the public sector taking center stage. The background to our conversation is sobering. The threats confronting Nigeria's financial system and economy are increasingly complex, ranging from cyber-enabled fraud and illicit financial flows to regulatory arbitrage and evolving typologies of money laundering and terrorism financing. These are not just regulatory issues. They are national security concerns that demand resilience, innovation, and above all, collaboration. That's why I'm very happy that the Office of the National Security Advisor is ably represented here to listen to our message. Countries across the world, including the United Kingdom, South Africa, Australia, and India, have successfully leveraged PPP models to strengthen AML-CFT CPF regimes. The evidence is clear. Siloed approaches are no longer sufficient. We must move towards a partnership that builds trust, encourages real-time intelligence sharing, close institutional gaps, and creates a structured, incentive-aligned framework for sustained cooperation. Distinguished participants, this roundtable is designed not just for dialogue, but for action. The high-level presentations and panel discussions we engage in today must move us closer to co-creating a Nigerian-specific PP model that is legally sound, institutionally robust, and operationally practical. Our ultimate aim is a homegrown, context-sensitive framework that responds to our unique risk and serves as a model for other African jurisdictions. This initiative also comes at a particular
So, if I may just start by offering some protocol messages, and just to say how privileged and welcome I am to be here today with you all, and particularly thanks to the CEO of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, who has so ably spoken before. Thank you. I'd also like to recognise other distinguished ladies and gentlemen here today from institutions across the Nigerian government and civil society, and thank you very much again for inviting me up here to speak to you today. It was a pleasure. May I just start by commending everyone here on the successful completion of the Financial Action Task Force on-site visit. You mentioned it, and I think you should be very proud of that visit and very proud of the work you put in to do that. It's a significant milestone, there's no doubt about it, and it's been built over a number of years of sustained effort to deliver the action plan that was set forth. And we hope, like all of you in this room, for a positive outcome at the upcoming plenary in October. And of course, nobody likes to be on anyone's grey list, so let's see if we can stay off it as well. The UK is very proud to have made a modest contribution in supporting Nigerian agencies through this process. Our partnership in the global fight against financial crime is long-standing and extends well beyond the FATF framework. So this launch of this initiative today, so soon after the on-site visit, reflects a really commendable commitment to strengthening Nigeria's response to economic and financial crime. So our collaboration in tackling financial crime dates back many years, and since the return of democracy, we have worked together to build more capable law enforcement institutions, ones that can better detect, investigate, and also prosecute corruption and economic crime. And we maintain a close operational partnership with Nigerian law enforcement agencies, cooperating on joint investigations and tackling shared threats. The challenges we face are deeply interconnected, and they're shaped by the global nature of the modern financial institutional system. So this includes the growing threat of fraud and the need to prevent illicit funds from undermining the integrity of our markets, and the stable and secure financial sectors which are essential to achieving government's ambitions for trade and economic growth. Yet this is not an easy task. I think criminal actors are exploiting increasingly complex mechanisms to move and store illicit funds. And we've seen this across institutions, asset classes, and of course jurisdictions as well. In emerging technologies such as cryptocurrencies, demand for new capabilities from both financial institutions and indeed law enforcement as well. And in this context, detecting, investigating, and recovering illicit flows requires dynamic and collaborative approaches. So the growing complexity has led to a deeper appreciation of the need to harness collective capabilities. And in the UK, this was the rationale behind the creation of the Joint Money Laundering Intelligence Task Force in 2015, which brought together law enforcement, regulators, banks, and other financial institutions to collaborate in real time on financial crimes. And the mutual benefit and trust that at the heart of these partnerships, the open active data sharing only happens when each stakeholder sees clear value, when they feel they're gaining more from the partnership than they are actually giving. There is no one-size-fits-all model for public-private partnerships. Each country must tailor its approach to its own risk profile, legal framework, and institutional landscape. And I really commend Nigeria with all heart for the commitment you have shown in establishing your own PPP framework. And while our context may differ, the UK does stand ready to share lessons from our own experience, including what has worked and what hasn't. And in time, we look forward to learning from Nigeria's experience as well. So thank you for your time. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share with you our thoughts on this, and I wish you a productive and impactful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again from the British High Commission for that excellent recognition of the efforts. You call your contribution modest, I call it substantial. Thank you very much for the work and the contribution that we have enjoyed from you. Please permit me once again to also recognize from the British High Commission a colleague of ours who is here, Mr. Jehazeb Khan. Please, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I think Mrs. Suhevan is not here today, Also she's also worked assiduously on this, our expression of appreciation to her. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have also online some of our colleagues who are joining, including experts who will be delivering some of the engagement when we get to the panel discussion. We want to welcome and thank everyone for our colleagues online who are also, so the number we have here is just one physically here. Those on virtual access are also with us here. I would like to also recognize from the JABA Secretariat, the Acting Director of Evaluation and Compliance of JABA, Dr. Jeffrey Isima, who is joining us virtually. Permit me also to welcome the General Counsel of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, who will also be sitting on one of the panel as a moderator. Welcome with me, Mr. Felix Obiamalu, who is already in our midst. One man with multiple competencies, eloquent, daring, able to speak at all times, Dr. Udofia Obot, an excellent expert, former Deputy Director of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Please let's welcome Dr. Obot. We will be listening to them when they start discussion, and then you can confirm what I have said, whether it's right or not. Please, we also have, I think, joining us virtually, Dr. Bai Maro. Dr. Bai Maro is a founding partner for Parametrics Global Consulting. Please welcome her. We thank her for joining us this morning as well. Permit me also to welcome Mr. Neil Maxwell. Neil Maxwell is on the future of financial intelligence sharing. We'll also be discussing on the panel with us later in the day. So thank you for joining us this morning. Also permit me to join and appreciate Jim Martin, innovators from the Jim Leads. Thank you for joining us also. We have Barry Sema Dike, Umar Chris, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ms. Susanna Nana, who also is also going to be taking discussions later, and array of facts that the team have selected and worked together as already organized by the CEO and welcome the chief consultant for this engagement. He is man with another multiple competencies. It's like in so many places, some places unable to define practicing Buleha. Thank you very much on the practicing Buleha consulting. Practicing consulting. Thank you very much. Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll be taking some few good messages. And before we start with messages, it's an opportunity to take the keynote address. The keynote address this morning will be taken by the Chief State Counsel from the Honorable Minister's Office, and Minister of Justice and the Attorney General. Come with me, Dachika Nana. Let's put our speakers welcome.
Thank you very much. The Chief Executive Officer of NFIU, that is present. Please permit to address the protocol, everyone. But before I commence, I would really like to state that it's an honor for me to stand before all of you to present this note address on behalf of my boss, the Honorable Attorney General of the Federation, who is also the co-chair of the Interministerial Committee on AML, CFT, and CPF, Chief Latif Fabemi, SAN. Okay, so I will not proceed. With the keynote address. This keynote address is on an issue that is not only a national priority, but a matter of regional and global security, developing a public-private partnership platform for coordinated action against money laundering, terrorism financing, and proliferation financing in Nigeria. Let me begin by appreciating the Chief Executive Officer, Madam Hafsat Abubakar Bakari, and the entire management and staff of the NFIU for bringing relevant stakeholders together to kickstart this national assignment. In a special way, I thank the British High Commission for supporting this very important event. Thank you so much, and for also gracing us with your presence. Let me acknowledge the tireless efforts of law enforcement agencies, financial institutions, regulatory bodies, and international partners who continue to stand as the frontline actors in combating money laundering, terrorism financing, and related financial crimes in Nigeria. Nigeria, like many emerging economies, faces serious threats from these complex crimes. These criminal activities not only distort markets and discourage foreign investment, but they also fund violence, erode public trust, and undermine the rule of law. As stakeholders in the public sector, and with diligent coordination of the National Financial Intelligence Unit, we have diligently considered the recommendations of the FATF and taken practical steps to address them. Where necessary, we have reviewed or amended or enacted relevant legal and policy frameworks to wit Money Laundering Prohibition and Prevention Act 2022, the Process of Crime, Recovery and Management Act, Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022. We have also developed and adopted a national strategy to fight ML and terrorism financing in Nigeria. We have begun a nationwide digitization of our processes in all our MDAs. We have invested in targeted training in intelligence gathering, investigation, and prosecution of these crimes. We have also taken concrete steps to create specialized units to ensure that we develop and utilize expert skills and knowledge in this area. However, despite our efforts, recent reports by the Intergovernmental Action Group Against Money Laundering in West Africa states that Nigeria remains a high-risk jurisdiction for illicit financial flows. Our traditional mechanisms, while commendable, are often reactive, fragmented, and unable to keep pace with the innovation and decentralization of financial crimes. We are facing adversaries that are technologically advanced, globally networked, and increasingly transnational. From cyber-enabled fraud and virtual asset misuse to trade-based money laundering and terrorism financing, the threats are no longer contained within the borders of one country, sector, or institution. However, these financial crimes demand a new approach, which is a public-private partnership. This public-private partnership is needed for so many reasons. If properly implemented, it will break down silos, strengthen trust, and unite all actors in a truly coordinated response in coordinating money laundering, terrorism financing, and proliferation of financial crimes in Nigeria. It will foster stronger, faster intelligence sharing. This is because an effective PPP platform channels targeted, actionable financial intelligence from banks, payment providers, telecoms, and the likes to NFIU and law enforcement partners, improving detection of suspicious networks. A PPP also provides a holistic picture and prioritized response. Combining public sector data and private transaction data creates a fuller view of ML, TF, CPF threats, so resources target the highest risk actors and typologies. It also ensures that capacity building programs are targeted and create a clearer legal and compliance framework for information sharing. A functioning PPP demonstrates Nigeria's commitment to FATF standards and helps access cross-border data and partner support. Therefore, it improves international cooperation and boosts the credibility of Nigeria. To yield the desired outcome, this platform must be anchored on these 5 pillars. The first is trust and legal standards. For any public-private partnership to function, there must be mutual trust. This means clearly defined networks for information sharing that protects both national security interests and individual privacy rights. We must develop memoranda of understanding, data sharing agreements, and legislative amendments that allow for proactive intelligence collaboration while ensuring transparency and accountability. Our legal framework must also protect good faith actors so that financial institutions and private actors are not penalized for cooperating with regulatory authorities. The second is intelligence sharing and joint threat analysis. Today, many financial institutions detect suspicious activity that never reach law enforcement in real time. Conversely, regulatory bodies often sit on critical data that, if shared earlier, could have prevented systemic breaches. The third pillar is technology-driven collaboration. This platform must be built on digital rails, artificial intelligence, blockchain analysis, data fusion centers, and real-time transaction monitoring tools must be leveraged to analyze large volumes of financial data across institutions. The fourth is capacity building and skill sharing. As criminals evolve, so must we. The PPP platform should serve as a hub for continuous training, capacity building, and skill transfer between sectors. Regulators can train private institutions on the latest AML CTF compliance requirements. In turn, financial institutions and fintechs can share technological insights with law enforcement and FIUs. The last but not the least is inclusion of non-traditional actors. We must extend our collaboration to include mobile money operators, designated non-financial businesses and professionals, legal professionals, cryptocurrency exchanges, and non-profit organizations. This sort of inclusion is needed because today, criminal proceeds are laundered through real estate, luxury goods, and even charity. Will there be challenges? The answer is yes. There will be challenges. Data protection and misuse fears must be addressed head-on. Institutional tough wars must give way to cooperation. Corruption and political interference must be actively mitigated. And resource constraints, especially within public institutions, must be overcome through budgetary prioritization and donor engagement. Thank God we have British High Commission here. As the Chief Law Officer of the Federation and the Chair of the IMC, I commit to using the resources and tools available in my office to ensure the timely review of relevant laws and to develop a workable national legal framework for PPP in compliance with international and domestic human rights laws and norms. We will consult far and wide with legal experts and draftsmen to work out modalities and determine risk and ways to cushion them. Once again, I commend the FIU for being an exemplary national coordinating body, for taking this bold step. I call up conjunction with relevant stakeholders to take a further step. You have to do more. We appreciate you for what you have done already, but we are asking for more. To take a further step to establish a national PPP task force and launch a pilot PPP platform in one high-risk area. This must be followed up with an effective monitoring and evaluation for constant joint meetings and trainings cannot be overemphasized. Therefore, steps must be taken to initiate and implement joint training programs and workshops across sectors with international partners included. Now, to the representatives here present, your contribution to the efforts of the Nigerian government in combating these crimes are highly appreciated. can do this alone, or to remain committed to this goal for the development of our ladies and gentlemen. This roundtable is divided into two main, comprising a lead paper presentation, two panel sessions, and an open discussion. I implore you all to focus on the theme of this roundtable, which is aligning public sector goals with private sector capabilities, and ensure that when we are all called upon to do so. Let us not only commit to forming a PPP platform, but let's commit to making it work. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you again, Mrs. Chika Nana, Chief State Counsel representing the Honorable Attorney General of the Federal Ministry of Justice. Can we please put our hands together again? Right now, I'd like to recognize the presence of the Director General, Infrastructure Concession and Regulatory Commission, ICRC, in person of Mr. Johnson Oseodion Ewaloto. Please let's put our hands together and welcome him for his presentation. Please let's keep clapping. You're welcome, sir.
Irrespective of your creed, of your language, of your thoughts, we all come together to drive the change that we desire in our nation. And that time is here, and that is what we are saying today. You concluded the speech by saying we can build a better and a safer society for the future generation. And indeed, that's a call to duty for all of us to take. Once again, let's put our hands together for him. I think that one is for you, none for him. Let's put it together generously. By so doing, you have added some few days to your life because your heart will pump faster with this clap. Thank you very much. At this point, permit me to welcome, for another good message, the Governor of the Central Bank. Central Bank is very pivotal to the work of the FIU and the work of the fight against money laundering and terrorist financing. And this morning we have a Deputy Director from the Central Bank, able, amiable, individual and expert in AML safety also. Welcome with me, Malam Aminu Isa Buhari. Please let's put our hands together to welcome him. This one is my friend.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. My bosses, everywhere I look, Director NFIU, Directors NFIU, sorry. Wishes all of us a successful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you again. Please let's put our hands together. It has been said that when the bird learns to duck, the hunter's gone. The hunter learns to shoot without a miss. And so in the fight against financial crimes in Nigeria, we have assumed the positions of skillful hunters who must learn to target without a miss. And to further lead us on this mission is Senior Special Advisor, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, representing the executive, Mr. Francis Osani. Please let's put our hands together as he comes forward for his speech. Please let's keep clapping further in this mission.
Thank you very much. Protocols have been established, and I seek your indulgence that I stand by that or those protocols that have been established. But first and foremost, I want to, before I read the executive chairman's goodwill message, I want to personally commend my sister, the CEO and director of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. I have actually made it a practice that I must always commend her, because I've seen the industry in which she has used in running the affairs of the NFIU. One thing I want to give testament to is that if the public sector itself is not synergized, or if there's no cooperation, if there's no partnership within the public sector itself, I mean, we can't be talking about the private sector, you know, having that partnership. She has been able to drive that partnership, that synergy within the public sector itself. Like I said earlier, I'll give testament to the fact that in every other occasion she organizes, you see an array of public sector entities present. So, madam, I commend you so very much. And one thing I want to say on a lighter note is that luckily she's the godmother to my daughter. My daughter looks so much like her. So whatever she does, I believe my daughter will do too. I knew where we started. We started in one cubicle in Lagos where we were prosecuting a crime. Thank you very much. So I want to first and foremost express the executive chairman's inability to make this meeting today. Incidentally, he's having the board of the EFCC meeting. As we speak, that meeting is going on now. So I'll read his speech. He said, "It is a special pleasure and privilege to be in your midst this morning. It is particularly gratifying that we are here to exchange ideas on a compelling issue crucial to building a formidable financial system for our nation. At this point in our AML CFT culture, we must acknowledge that public-private partnership has become a critical strategy in the effective fight against financial crimes, and we can clearly at the EFCC attest to that fact. The Financial Action Task Force has, in several guidance notes, promoted public-private partnership as an essential tool in the fight against financial crimes by enhancing collaboration between public authorities and the private sector, like the banks and the designated non-financial businesses and professions. Issues of money laundering, terrorist financing, proliferation financing are not casual matters. They are threats to our economic development and leakages that must be blocked. To this end, every framework must be addressed as a problem. A public-private partnership platform for coordinated action against the challenges posed by money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing is a robust modality that should be embraced. This is because both public and private sector are affected by the grave distortions attendant to the economy by their effects. The public and private sectors are two sides of the same coin. Money laundering has tentacles and expansionist tendencies in the entire polity and economy of all nations. We must build synergy and actionable alliances to tackle it as a problem. For us at the EFCC, we are stopping at nothing to enforce every extant regulation to fight the scourge of money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing. The Money Laundering Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, Process of Crime Recovery and Management Act 2022, and the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022 are being enforced fully at the EFCC. The Special Control Unit Against Money Laundering is leaving no stone unturned in bringing every designated non-financial business and profession to align with regulations meant to sanitize our financial space. I urge players in the public and private sector to partner more with this to make good success of the existing regulations. The regulations and sanctions accompanying them are meant for compliance and deterrence. For the public-private partnership platform to yield bountiful results, we must be stronger in institutional vigilance. The platform is necessary for enlightenment, enforcement, and corporate vigilance. Laws are not made to be paper tigers, they are made to be enforced. The EFCC will continue to offer its support and services to every effort meant to bring money laundering, terrorist financing, and proliferation financing to its knees. Internal cleansing is also crucial. Every public and private entity must continually do financial sanitization to bring their systems into optimal compliance with regulations. Partnership is functional when capacities are built, systems are strengthened against infractions, and regulations are understood and obeyed. There is no better way of building a meaningful platform. There's no better way of building a meaningful platform. Finally, I deeply appreciate the leadership of the NFIU, the British High Commission, and our dear friend, Mr. Patterson Consulting, to these roundtable discussions. We will always be there to offer our best shots in synergy and strategy to tackle every economic and financial crime and other acts of corruption. We must learn how not to prioritize personal gains against the national interest. And that's where public-private partnership would yield its desired result in strengthening our resolve to fight against financial crimes for the sustenance of the national prosperity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Francis Usani, the Special Advisor to the Chairman of the Executive Chairman of EFCC. Thank you very much. It started with a very great commendation of the work of the leadership of the NFIU. Of course, highlighting the importance of public-private partnership and engagements that NFIU has driven very well. Like he had mentioned in his speech, every program that you see led by NFIU, you will find that all the public organizations are fully and adequately represented, just as we've seen this morning. Thank you very much for once again highlighting that. He also indeed mentioned something very important, which is the law that some of those laws involve the Money Laundering Prohibition Acts of 2022, the Terrorist Financing Prevention Act of 2022, the POCA, of course, Proceeds of Crime Acts, and how EFCC is extremely committed in ensuring that this is delivered within their responsibility. Being a practitioner himself, a man with vast experience in this, having led the NFIU as well, of course, he understood the importance and the role that EFCC have to play, particularly in delivering the mandates of Nigeria under the cooperation that is required with the NFIU. He expressed EFCC's commitment and particularly support to ensure that this is delivered, ended with appreciation. And this is very, very salient because that appreciation speaks to us that we appreciate also the EFCC. At this point, before we proceed, there is one man who is an astute administrator whose work established the structure that others build upon in the EFCC. His vast knowledge, his commitment is obvious, and everyone I spoke to in my several years of working with colleagues at the NFIU, they keep saying that, oh, during a Kairos time, during a Kairos time, during a Kairos time. And today and now is a Kairos time. Please welcome him for his speech, please.
Yeah, the CEO talked about you, that it's tough speaking. Yeah, so thank you, MC. I want to start by specially thanking the Chief Executive of the NFIU. I must confess, this has been a journey for us. And I think it's been possible for her to take the NFIU to where it is today because of her special traits in her. You know, it's true, we started the NFIU in 2003 when the chair, the current NSA, set up a 10-man committee to put the NFIU together. And we didn't look at it this way. Confess, I was just talking to you now. That 10-man committee had me as the secretary. I was a pioneer staff of the EFCC. Actually, if you check the EFCC card, I'm number 6. The 10-man committee had mainly public sector people. First of all, we had the British High Commission beside us, and I must commend, they've stayed on course. They've been with us all this while. The other institution was the central bank. Yeah, the central bank. And I want to remember about the 10-man committee that's here. Obot. I remember we had our fights, but eventually produced the final document. I mean, it was headed by a private sector person, one Alaji Dahiru. Is that correct? Yeah, that was the only person from the private sector. He had worked with a lot of banks and all that, brought in a lot of experience for the private sector. But the focus was mainly the public sector entities, CBN, SEC, NDIC, and a couple of other bodies. There were 10 of us. And for 1 year we met, traveled around. There was no other FIU in West Africa. No, that the actually gave birth to the FIU in Ghana. I hope you know that. Many of you know. Yeah, they gave birth to the FIU in Ghana. The FIU in the Gambia. We needed to do some more work in the IT department. That was how GIA came in. You know, and I must confess, we had several challenges then. I mean, now you're talking of grey lists, and you did a wonderful job, Madam Hafsat. I mean, we could not have, I must tell you, you have to give it to her. You know, her capacity to to convene, very important. And I want to make one thing, I want to say something that would always make me respect this lady. After I left the NFIU, for years, I never got any call. You know? You all know under what circumstances the NSA itself left the EFCC. I mean, the first call I ever got was from Madam Hafsat. She was organizing an event. I didn't even know she had moved on, done a lot of work. And this was held in the villa, if you remember. That was the first time I was getting a formal call from the NFIU. And I must thank you for that. You gave me better connection. I just felt we never wasted our time. And because it was tough, fighting money laundering. Very, very tough when we started. Nigeria was on the blacklist. People could not redeem scholarships outside. We had FinCEN. FinCEN is the US, I mean, we had the FinCEN advisory in Nigeria. Banks could not do correspondent banking. They could not. You could not have your cards. Today you have credit cards, you have debit cards. I mean, the NFIU is responsible for most of those things. We could not, letters of credit from banks. I mean, Patson, another, where's Patson? That's another, no, may God bless you. You know, you did a wonderful job to coordinating the compliance team, because we needed to now establish a team of compliance officers, across the banks. I mean, as a way of reaching out. The biggest hit we ever got came out of that. If you remember, I still have those records. I mean, these are people that have contributed a lot, you know. And I must tell you, Hafsat, any day, I told the NSA that any day would really have to give you support. Any day, I can tell you. Any day. Just guarantee it. You are going to have all sorts of fights here and there because you have all manner of characters within this sector. But I tell you, I have your back. I promise you I have your back. You know. And again, I can see that the environment is changed. When I was head of the NFIU, there was no. So I wonder. I can see that the financial sector landscape is changed. Today you have OPay to track all that. So it's become more complicated and more challenging. And that's exactly why I think you really, really need this kind of robust engagement to fight money laundering, terrorist financing, and the fight against weapons of mass destruction. That's the full. I don't know. Sometimes I feel this home for me. You know. I thank everybody. I thank the team. And Hafsat, I believe in your capacity to manage men and women. I believe in your, and I believe, you see, there's something you do not even understand. Your capacity to leverage legacies, to leverage, you do it intuitively. You know, there are things people haven't built. They don't understand. It goes, other people need to, you find that you really need to learn to get some of these things done. You know, and I see Biola. I mean, I see some faces here. This is how. I mean, it was a big fight. Today, I see people using credit cards and debit cards. Travel abroad. There were people who had scholarships abroad that could not redeem them. You travel out, and there was nothing. It took a lot to get Nigeria out of the FATF blacklist. It was called the NCCT list then. Yeah. May God bless you all. I mean, I'll always be there, and I'm supposed to have retired and relaxed, you know, but the NSC does not think I'm supposed to be relaxing somewhere. I thank everybody. I would always contribute. I mean, this is our country, and we are not running anywhere. With this, I mean, I tell my son, there's another his son, my daughter talks about you too, you know. There's no other place. We really have to look for ways to redeem this country. You know, the British High Commission has done a lot. The US too has done a lot. You know, if you remember, FinCEN guided us through the Edmond Group process and all that. But you're at a different stage. I mean, and even dealing with the people you deal with, the youths. I mean, it's just even managing them and the kind of things they think about every day. You know, it's a big challenge. Everybody, I'm here. Thank you.
Mr. Okaro Asishana didn't mean those words. It came straight from his heart, from the labors of the past, and watching now what it has evolved into. Please, let's put our hands together again. I can imagine how encouraged Hajia feels right now, and I must add my congratulations on your labors so far. Can we please, again, put our hands together for her, for our efforts and the collaboration of everyone. Remember the words of Helen Keller, together we can. That I'd like to recognize the presence of Chief Judge, High Court of the FCT, Honorable Justice Baba Yusuf, who is represented by Yusuf Babawo Mohammed, Deputy Chief Registrar. Please, let's put our hands together for him. While I bring to the lectern the head of Legal Enforcement and Regulation of Nigeria, Data Protection Commission, NDPC, in person of Mr. Babatunde Bamigoye. Please, let's put our hands together as he gives his goodwill message.
Actually, it feels a little awkward coming to speak after the electrifying speeches we have heard earlier this morning, but I bring you warm tidings and good tidings from the Nigeria Data Protection Commission from Dr. Vincent Olatunji, who is unavoidably absent, but of course you know we are with you always. He sends his regards, hopes to join you when the occasion serves again. Thank you very much. So I read the message. Please, I hope we don't have a data protection issue with the mics. So I am delighted to join the NFIU and distinguished participants at this crucial roundtable to deliberate on developing a public-private partnership, PPP, for combating money laundering, terrorism financing, and proliferation financing in Nigeria. The importance of this roundtable cannot be gainsaid, considering our geographical and demographic statistics. A nation that is 923,770 kilometers square and is in size, over 230 million people in population, and 774 local government areas with judicially recognized financial autonomy. The need for public-private partnership in this very vast landscape cannot be overemphasized. At once, our task is to examine the safeguards for engaging the private sector players in this, what we otherwise call the inherently governmental functions, intelligence gathering, that is, to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. For us, at the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, we see this as a great opportunity to build trust in the ecosystem. Trust that personal data will be processed lawfully, fairly, and transparently. That it will be processed in a manner that respects purpose limitation. That persons and those who control the levers of intelligence gathering, as well as the teaming workmen and women, will exercise duty of care as prescribed under the Nigeria Data Protection Act 2023. You recall His Excellency the President directed that every MDA must process personal data in line with the Nigeria Data Protection Act. That data is really very important. It is the new oil. And also the Attorney General speaking this morning with my sister, the Chief State Counsel, also re-echoed the importance of data protection. What is more, we will build trust by putting in place appropriate technical and organizational measures for data privacy and protection in Nigeria. Nigeria Data Protection Commission is prepared, as always, to collaborate with NFIU in this initiative. We have signed MOU with data protection authorities, such as in Canada and Dubai, the financial center, actually, and this is for mutual legal assistance. The British High Commission, or they just, if they are still here, we have a good bilateral relationship with the Office of the Information Commissioner in the United Kingdom, ICO, and it is for the purpose of facilitating mutual legal assistance on investigation as well as intergovernmental information sharing. Without these safeguards, it will be difficult, of course, for people who respect human rights to share their data with you or to expect you to do anything without proper safeguards in place. This, we hope, will address issues, drawbacks, such as regulatory arbitrage. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, the crucial factor in this envisaged partnership is trust. And to all intents and purposes, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission is your strong ally in this effort as we go forward. On this note, and on behalf of the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, we congratulate you, Ma, and the NFIU team for this wonderful initiative, and we look forward to working with you as we go forward. Happy deliberations. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much, Mr. Babatunde from the Data Protection Commission. Indeed, data is now the new oil. Thank you very much. You highlighted that and expressed the commitment of the agency to continue to work with the theme. Once again, we appreciate you. As we bring this to a close, I would like to mention here that this is a very great collaborative work, and we have several other agencies here that probably we have not mentioned their name, including representative from Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Finance, of course, National Counterterrorism Center, the FIRS, the Federal Inland Revenue Services, ICPC Code of Conduct, the Nigerian Immigration Service, Nigerian Customs Service. And in case I have not mentioned your name, you can see me after the tea break so that I will mention your name to you. Thank you once again. We apologize in case the name did not get to us. But I can't go ahead without mentioning this, that the Chief Justice of Nigeria was willing to be here in person, but she's not able to make it. I remember just some few weeks ago we were in Cambridge together, and she once again demonstrated her commitment that this work is our work, and she's committed to it. She's ably represented this morning by the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Courts, Kabir Akambi. Please, let's put our hands together as we welcome him. Thank you very much. Please say our greetings to my Lord. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the close of this opening ceremony. It has stayed for quite a long time, and therefore we're going to break now. The first thing we will do as we break is to have group photograph. The photograph will be taken downstairs. So we'll just go to the entrance of the building very fast as much as we can. We come back, there is tea break downstairs as well. We have representative of the media here, Nigerian Television Authority, other print medias, and they would like to have a chat with the CEO and some of the dignitaries. Please avail them the opportunity to do so. And finally, we close for the session. We'll come back here to take place in 15 minutes. It's up to you and not up to me. So this, we get back here in 15 minutes so that we can start the technical session. Our time is fast spent. Once again, my name is Tim Melaye. I am the head of GIABA office in Nigeria. I also head the communication and advocacy of GIABA. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I worked together this morning with my dear sister and friend, Zoe Octavia Obazi. She's a professional company. Next time you have the meeting, just call her, don't look for me. She's such an excellent one. Thank you very much for joining this morning. I would like to advise you, it's my final advice to you this morning. As you approach the tea table, those who listen to me often over the years know this advice. Please eat what you know and know what you eat. Thank you very much and good morning. Please, let's go downstairs for the photograph. Thank you. If you want to clap for me, just be generous.
paints the world in colors. Each ray is a heart, a promise. And life dances to the sound of the winds. Beautiful life, how beautiful you are. Woven into threads of hope and stars. Every day is a gift, every day is a gift. To paint with love.
Hello. Hello. It's okay. Okay.
Gentlemen, she'll be joining us virtually. You speak out. Unmute your. Unmute your. Allow her. Okay, Anne, are you there? I'm sure we'll get the chat box.
Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear? Hello.
Yes.
Mute.
Yes.
Mute. Go ahead.
Okay, teachers under the partnership, just on greed of working with and sharing the collect the full range of economic crime threats to the same level of the operations partners to meet to discuss changing threats, actually allowed for private sector now of the model is. On the left, we've got the public-private threat group activity, right, the fusion work, is partnership activity. It aims to both across both the public and private sector to and one thing is forums and cells meeting and collective threat and cells meeting and collective threat assessment and they identify and commission clue activities by emerging strategic response options of the response to a non-crypto crime evasion, a partnership model, crime evasion, a partnership model. I'll talk a little bit. There's the operations and our political groups that aside from our general operations group, which is across a range of tactical sessions evasions, into tax crime evasions, into the public-private response to fraud in the public-private response to fraud in smishing, which is a technical. It brought together key partners and police, as well as the learning and best practice sharing session, which ultimately has led to an increase in number, with 5 warrants having executions, the 2 Metropolitan Section 7 with those cases perspective. In the sessions being delivered to almost the value communication video posts us to sharing gateway that's provided under the UK enforcement and police force UK enforcement and police force agreement, and members are not This was back the 3 defendants pleading frame which did not compromise their investigation. This is just one of many cases. Into that we use, whether that be taking upon with match it against criminal intent.
By Mr. Patterson Bolea, and that Building Trust Bolea is the Managing Director of Patterson of Chief Compliance Officers of Banks.
To showcase successful partnerships and identify actionable ways that we can foster mutual trust in financial crime regulation. In a panelists, and we have 2 of our panelists who are online. I just want to confirm if we can get them online. Screen, Dr. Udofia Obot. Dr. Obot is the former deputy director and head of the AML CFT division of the to be delisted intelligence unit. Is a renowned compliance trainer who has advised on national and AML CFT policies over the years. And at Mr. Obot, please, can you son, by the way? So, the deputy director of financial crimes supervision in the compliance department of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Mr. Issa Buhari is a certified anti-money laundering specialist, a certified fraud examiner, and an AML CFT country and the financial crimes division of the CFT country and the financial crimes division of the Jones in country, and is also the founding vice president. So please help welcome on and the father. So I'd like to also introduce another pillar of in our industry, regulatory compliance, to the executive chairman. Said yes several times today. That at the leadership of the security at the leadership of the security studies, and has also been head of legal in Benin of the EFCC and civil litigation, the civil litigation department of benchmarks. So, and online, and can you I did over a decade of over a decade of experience. She is the founding over a decade of experience. She is the founding partner of Parametric Global Parametric Global Consulting, a boutique white collar crime, the UK Serious Fraud Office, a visiting faculty white collar crime, the UK Serious Fraud Office, a visiting faculty member of the East Lloyded by Last but the Director of Evaluation and Dr. Sima oversees financial crimes. He has been instrumental in strengthening cooperation among ECOWAS member states and implementing international AML safety standards. Is he online? Can you confirm that you can hear him, can see him? Okay, so whilst we get that panel, ladies and gentlemen, we will proceed in a Q&A format, and I will direct my questions specifically to you based on one or two. It's 3 minutes max on each. I would like to start first. Okay. Dr. Obot, this question goes as thus. What, in your view, how do these factors play out in your field? You know, in decades you have spent from there. What do you see as?
Thank you very much. What he's asking for is let me start this way. Creation of awareness on AML safety is at the lowest ebb in Nigeria. One thing I tell people about AML safety. You know, Philip had to ask the Ethiopian Union, do you understand? He said, how can I understand except I am told? So if you don't know, you just don't know. Take, for example, the chief executive officers in both the private and the public. If you train them, 1 hour is too much, they will not even. And how can you formulate policy on what you don't? It is not driven. AML safety regime in a bank or in any institution is not driven by the chief. When they are trained, before you know, they are posted out to other bits, and the experience is gone. Not to talk about the or education is where we are. If you have all the facilities, we talk about the issue of objectives. The public sector regulators, of enforcement. Of course, you impose penalties, and the private sector operators will not like heavy walls that they require. Even been in this system for a long time, that means that they have not told the truth. Private sector, there are just benefits, rendition of returns. They talk about the cost implication. Whatever that comes that way, they will not want to comply. This is the truth. And they don't know that we are operating in the same economy. If anything happens to Nigeria, it will affect them directly. Let me country. We have good law, very big problem. If you want to leave country, as on the leave, we can do it successfully. Do it successfully. And
thank you very much. Yes, you talked about the need. And thank you very much. Yes, you talked about the need and passion to much. Yes, you talked about the need and passion to implement your passion to implement you've set the stage properly, and so implement you've set the stage properly, and so start mutual trust and deliver actively in their highlights some trust and deliver actively in their highlights some
moderator. First and foremost, such through these various national information trends or national information trends or risk assessment and information trends or risk assessment prevention and EFCC or risk assessment prevention and EFCC or that particular through that really make a tremendous contract direct and focus detection. The banks and the EFCC very high level of was also based on collaboration or politically excited so like collaboration or politically excited so like I said things and reduced having this having this kind of in this particular case an avoidable sector which I
very much
speak, I mean, we are still having that cooperation
that are mutually and for everybody. So thank you very much for those examples. So to Dr. to Miss. So if you can hear me, this next question is for you. As a former prosecutor who has tackled complex bribery case collaborations, so I like what practical private partnerships, much the center of our discussion here.
So much for the need to recognize. I hope that you can hear me. The private partnerships, they absolutely need to have formal transparency mechanisms in place. So when we talk about those formal transparency mechanisms, we're talking about memorandums of understanding, ethical guides, and upfront to accountability. The second thing that I would like to say about this is the extractives industry or public procurement contracting. It might also be an area where we need to think about whether an independent advisory board in its project increase credibility. And it helps, like I say, to dispel any misconceptions there might be about what the PPP is doing and it's set out to achieve. Begins this journey of establishing a PPP. One of the key things that lots of people in the room will have a question about is, well, how are we going to share information and do that safely? And I think part of it is really not safely. And I think part of it is really not, it's not straightforward, but it can be very simple. When we look at we had an excellent presentation earlier on from the Gimlet team, but I think as to how information sharing, that I just wanted to touch on was in relation to Merin, and public reporting. Important that there is some way in which a PP on what it's achieved. All of those things will help in relation to accountability. And I think these are sort of the key things that you need to be considering in this.
Sorry? Yeah, it's better here. Okay. Transparency of the tools and the way information is shared. The way information is shared. Publishing results from time to time so that people can see. To shine light on the by Maro. So now we will go to plans as a deputy for aligning incentives and private firms' elective roles.
Why so is that? Because both have differing, as I've said earlier in my opening remarks for on behalf of the governor, these pursue profit and in bringing some risks to the systemic and in aligning transparency, collaboration, and clear boundaries. These three, you have to. Transparency clearly, and those opto will see there is, you have to achieve right from the beginning framework. Promote, it can encourage private sector to be relief for that have shown, let's say, for example, proactive risk assessment, risk mitigation assessment, and are doing. Issue that framework, as I have said earlier, to right from the beginning. Identified, and we should get not allow. We should avoid. It will enhance the transparency in the market, the trust in the market, and also the trust in the market, and also it will improve without. Would also, don't forget, thank you very much.
Those who are showing high,
thank you very much.
Those who are showing high, and also creating a transparency and people still balance. Well done. Sima, you countries, what improvement sharing play in big line? Come back to you. Then I'll come back to question to how it be happening. You know, both the sectors how it be happening. You know, both the sectors
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay. Okay.
So, from my perspective,
okay. Okay.
So, from my perspective, those that are going to stop that membership mean that might be something that is of assistance, and there will be elements of it that we will not. So where you can have a public-facing element, and there will be elements of it that we will not. So where you can have a public-facing element, such as we need to talk about in good work, you know, upholding pact as at the very senior levels, and also anybody within those senior middle manager ranks can integrity pacts and codes of conduct. They can be a symbolic step.
Thank you very
Trust
much.
is really
I think we lost you briefly, but you've recommended whenever they have gestures. Okay, I don't know if we can still the sisters and bank executives. Over you talked about the need to truly or bank executives. Over you talked about the need to truly or mindsets shifts on both sides.
Okay. See, tell him he may forget. Come together like we are. Tell him he may forget. Come together like we are here. Even employ private sector. Take responsibility. That person will go on upliftment.
Wraps here. Is it there now? Is it there now? To civil society in the divide.
The public citations, and for that, so because discourse of PPP in Java deploy that, so because discourse of PPP in Java deploy every sector of the protest from present in fighting against in the
Dr. Jeffrey Sima saying the trust. One to help bridge the mystery. Just
law. Please, that's law. Please can amend the existing laws.
Absolutely.
To provide for that.
It's very key.
Correct.
It's very key.
Correct. Miss laws. 30 seconds. Laws. 30 seconds. Will always pause on eminent and Miss
express because of the angle of
normalized channels of
allay such fear.
normalized channels of
allay such fear. And you're not good. We could say okay. And you're not good. We could say okay. Whistleblower.
Yeah.
Because the message is not keep.
Yeah.
Because the message is not keep
turning. And keep to turning. And keep to so the corruption businesses for them, not just be. I like to thank corruption businesses for them, not just be. I like to thank you once again for being.
partnerships. We will strengthen both companies. We will strengthen both companies. Our convention, institutional enforcement mandates, public sector mandates, structured and building trust, on laws according to reduce duplication. Having said this, according to reduce duplication. Having said this, yeah, good. How investment
elements of two legislation give to question mention to comply investment finance, in this instance financial fraud and all that. Agencies, but their approach is that because the kind of forum shopping want to choose the, for instance, and it's also presented there because that routes to follow, which routes, implementing them. There's a need to streamline those legislations, and there's also a need to kind of centralize the implementation.
In the day, which is there in the tactical sharing, the other end, which is the brief. We've got out it from intelligence. That's very much going to allow for the information to be exchanged securely. We've got to put out an awful lot of guidance on there. But what we've done this year is some prioritisation using through our partnership work and how the economic threat is changing as it impacts the UK, and share those priorities with the private sector directly impacts the UK, and share those priorities with the private sector directly areas. And that's something.
Says you've had them.
And that's something.
Says you've had them. Should exist for results. That is the private sector.
Probably happen to have served and a lot of lorry. So if you ask me various legislations, see it is the absence of important. The policies precedes legislation. But what we have in our country today is we have a situation where sometimes people were deliberate and saying, this is, and trying to see
putting the
that happened from Sokoto, which I'm trying to see
putting the
that happened from Sokoto, which one was that? Kamle, from which was far people, 1,000 naira, which was the Kamle, from which was far people, 1,000 naira, which was the. And if you do have an effect, some of the affected like recently lady who is in the police and remain in service, but it is not service, but it is not right, already declared. So it is not right, already declared. So it is not many people. Not many people. They are mid.
Anyway. Pace of.
Comparative research of the theme of the public-private partnership, comparative research of the theme of the public-private partnership, and through adequate 7 years, members have been told that risk can be very financial, which is around the coordinate moment because identifying failings round it was risk when identifying risk, which AML supervisor regulated entities from this institution engage in public-private the cause new risk. Noise reporting about how they can support financial crises based framework that are being asked to towards priorities within a public-private partnership, and indeed how could perhaps reduce the compliance both on investigations or preventative outcomes. In addition, public-private partnerships perhaps private can also be an area where AML super partnership, low value activity and improving.
And some private actors harmonize threats.
is just a tool. Is just a tool. It could be compact, but it's just, it could be compact, but it's just a tool. And so public-private public-private partnership, which on the investigative side, can best be deployed against these priorities. So that requires coordination and priorities. So that requires coordination, and it requires regulators not just talking about the AML to bring in additional perspectives, regulation and fraud mitigation, Invasion 16 revision, in risk strategy about.
Thank you very much. Over the years with Jimlit. Legal is
on from the goal of the regulator, and there's letter in the regulator, and there's letter in the UK. Regulate the enforcement has been right from the beginning. With the legal context in which the UK operates is a law first called the Crime and Courts Act 2013, the Crime and Courts Act 2013, particularly Section 7, which essentially disapplies person who information and take information from our private sector partners, have this partnership.
Attorney General's office. All through the morning, we keep on.
Thank you very much. MLCTF. In this, mandates are clearly stated. While I would really have the terrorism prevention of only the attorney. So you know what you're between prevention of only the attorney. So you know what you're between cannot gainsay the fact that we work on. It also makes sure that cannot gainsay the fact that we work on. It also makes sure NFIU. So take what we are discussing, but it's still a partnership. Then maybe they go, but on us and justice with agencies, and we also agree to create demand protocols and others like IMC, interagency set up space cells,
Okay. In mandates, we've talked about developing gene. You've been financial crimes. Dates, we've talked about developing gene. You've been financial crimes.
Trust with the effectiveness of that.
Unveil our own PPP. Financial.
IN's point level commitment, which involves the FIU, it involves the AML supervisor, ideally it involves policy, kind of achieving to be a moment, like a media moment, where there is a commitment to the objectives of the partnership, or commitment. People at some point and at the start is a very
Your perspective. You are muted. Please unmute him. He's talking. But we'll get back to you, Mr. DK, when you. But let me ask you.
I know things drifted on slightly with the agenda, but thank you very much for the opportunity. From the FFIS perspective, we'd be delighted to help support.
Thank you so much, Nick. Mr. DK is still unmuted. Mr. DK is still unmuted. So I said, is the current state of our laws now? Is this state of our laws now? Is this supporting PPP for
still under review to make them more. I remember.
Yes, just
I remember.
Yes, just a minute. I'll get back to you. Just a minute.
When the
A minute. I'll get back to you. Just a minute.
When the World Bank visited, even though we had public sectors have not yet enacted their guidelines as at that time, but I know that it's something that, because it's the way to go. But in certain sectors,
Sentence advice to Nigeria. Sentence advice to Nigeria.
It is everybody sees everyone as it. Why some of this tied around the mandate of it is very important that you have this and then somewhere along the line also, please strengthen law review. Law review is effective. No matter how to take it to law review. But if the law review has nothing to do with it, it dies there. So two things, get your policy right and
that I would like to state for within his purview on PPP. I mainly highlighted, so it's a recommendation that I will take home and see how we can come up with a draft agreeing upon the need to be transparent. Integrity matters with organization of them goal, which is national development. Less part. I'm happy that the LNSIC has been hammering on legislative review. Is something that would show
legal framework for this PPP arrangement. The issue of whistleblower, it has to be taken seriously, and the aspect of trust on both sides, the side of the private sector and the side of the implementing agencies, because it should private sector. After the last number can change in a banking fraud. So, a lot of things without the motion exercise.
Sorry, please, there's something I forgot. We use, so it's not just about having a legal framework or policy framework that is blanket. When there is a case on that is blanket, when there is a case on ground, what happens? So I work on ground, what happens? So I work my department in criminal matters, extra-authorities, but my department in criminal matters, extra-authorities, but also if EFCC is the competent officer, perhaps the end contacts us, leave here.
We've had the written questions in the national interest. With strong people in the national interest. With strong PPP structures, we can build a more coherent. Trusted, and effective system.
Rome carries this out just before we step out. Butler Yeats' poem. It's an experience that everyone in this room must avoid. And what's the things for? So to our little, as we drop the curtain, I honor co-comparing. Thank you very much, yourselves, for enduring. Please let's. Your time, and please enjoy the rest of. Please, there is lunch downstairs. Kindly make your way down.